Now let's move to CJ Stroud. So CJ Stroud, everyone's like, hey, man, he was accurate. He threw it so well. It was very impressive. Yeah, I know. Watch him play. Watch the tape. You'll see a guy that's hyper accurate with the football and doing a lot of the same things that I just discussed about Bryce Young. Now, rather than just give you a big evaluation, I would rather tell you what I know. Not that I don't know his evaluation, I do, but anyone can give you an evaluation. I did 8 of his games. And so I know him and that coaching staff fairly well. Okay? Fairly well as any broadcaster out there. Let me start with this. CJ is an incredibly humble guy. I was struck by his quiet demeanor the first time I ever met him. His background is interesting. Obviously, he comes from a house where he didn't have his dad growing up, and his mom did a wonderful job. The guy is respectful. He is certainly someone that understands the gravity of his position. And that's what I wanted to start with, because I've become very aware of the gravity of the starting quarterback role at Ohio State. I know that it's pressure packed at other places around the country. I don't know if there is a more intense position singularly in college football than the Ohio State quarterback. You name the program, and I don't think that they get the scrutiny that the Ohio State quarterback gets. That fan base is ruthless, and you know it. Buckeye fans, I know you. I see you. I'm around you all the time. I do all of the games, all the important Ohio State games. I do all the important Michigan games. The Ohio State fan base is really hard on their team. And therefore, if you're in the most prominent position, i.e. the head coach or the quarterback, I think it can be categorized fairly as one of, if not the most pressure-packed player positions in all of college football. And I thought he dealt with it very well. Justin Fields leaves. He comes in, and I go into spring practice, and I see him in some of his first spring practices as the quote-unquote starter. And he wasn't throwing it that great. And Coach Day was just like, listen, he's got a lot to work on. He's got to develop. I come back for the next fall, and I'm seeing them early in that season. I get his first start against Minnesota. And in the first half of his first start on the road against Minnesota, he wasn't great. He overthrew some passes, and they came back out in the second half. And I thought they were just going to lean into, we're better than Minnesota. Let's run the ball. Let's lean on our defense, which is playing really well, and we'll just go and get the win and get out of here. No. Ryan Day put the ball in C.J. Stroud's hands, and he answered the bell. That game, more than a lot of the other games, showed me a ton about this kid. He has some serious guts because, like I said, that is a pressure-packed position, being the starting quarterback of the Buckeyes. Here he is with all the pressure in the world on him. It's his first start. He's on the road. Blustery conditions, by the way, and did not play well in the first half. Minnesota's playing really well. They got a veteran quarterback. They got a veteran running back. And in the second half, man, it was the C.J. Stroud show and the Jackson Smith and Jigba show. And Ryan Day dialed it up for this kid, and he was driving the ball down the field. And that showed me a lot of fortitude for C.J. Stroud. I've done 8 of his games as the quarterback of the Buckeyes. I would probably say I'm actually a bit of a downer. He probably doesn't want to see me because they're actually 5-3 in those games that I did. So I've done 3 of his losses. He only lost 4 games. The only other loss that he had was that great performance against Georgia in the playoff. I did the Oregon loss and both Michigan losses. So seeing this kid mature, I think I've got a unique perspective. The player he was early in a loss against Oregon was a very different player than he was late in his career. And the guy that I saw play against Georgia with a real Warriors mentality was a guy that really matured from the first time that I saw him to the last time that I saw him. And again, dealing with overwhelming negativity and pressure from that Buckeye fan base because of those losses to Michigan, and he still showed up and played the way that he did against a Georgia team that was better than Michigan. Good on him. Like, I have a lot of respect for C.J. Stroud, a lot of respect. He's also taught by Ryan Day, and I think that makes a lot of sense to GMs and decision makers within the NFL circles. Okay.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.